Landscaping business insurance, what coverages are needed, what should you anticipate the cost to be, and how can you get a quote? My name is Nate Jones. I'm the owner, CEO of Wexford Insurance. I also have a DBA at my company. We're a team of over 15 agents helping companies in 48 states minus Alaska and Hawaii. And we also own a DBA called Landscaping Guard Insurance, and it is focused on helping landscapers. Right now we have over 100 landscaping and lawn care contractors that we currently have as a client, and today I'm just going to educate you on where the costs are going to be, what the coverages are, and let's hop in it. The first coverage that you need, bare minimum, if you're just doing landscaping, lawn care, you're just starting out and and maybe you're doing it on the side, the bare minimum is general liability. General liability, the main exposure it covers for a lawn care company or landscaping is if you're mowing a lawn and a rock flies from the lawnmower and hits someone's house, damages a window, damages their house, it will cover that damage. That's called property damage. Another coverage in the general liability is bodily injury. Let's say you're mowing and a rock hits the blade and it hits a kid, hurts a kid. God forbid that happen. That policy will cover for the bodily injury expenses associated with that. Okay, so general liability, bare minimum, that's damages that you're liable for. So bare minimum, you need that. Usually for a small startup, under $500 for the year, you can pay that monthly. Super easy. We can turn that around usually within 10-15 minutes. All you got to do is the first pinned comment, follow that link, fill out your information. We'll reach out right away. We won't reach out a ton. We'll just email you, text you, and maybe call you once just to make sure we can get your information so we can get you a quote. You can also call us at the number in the first pinned comment. We can literally get you a quote within an hour that's probably under $500 as long as you don't have any employees in your one-man shop. And then, as your business grows, you get more employees, your policy will be based on payroll. So the more people that you have out there mowing, the more chances that you're going to potentially cause damage and that you're going to have a claim. So that's why your cost goes up. Okay. The next coverage that you'll need is workers' compensation. Workers' compensation covers sometimes the owner. Most owners don't want to be covered on the work comp, but if you have a helper, you have an employee, maybe even somebody you 1099, but you treat them like an employee, because most states, it doesn't matter if you 1099 somebody, it matters how you treat them. So if you treat them like an employee, they might be entitled to workers' compensation benefits. So work comp covers if somebody gets hurt on the job. Let's say they're mowing and they go on the side of a hill and they fall and the lawnmower falls on them. Oh my gosh. Well, that covers the workplace related injuries and loss of wages. Okay. So workers' compensation, bare minimum, I would say usually we can get a policy at about 30 to 50,000 in payroll, under 2,000 for the year. In some states it's under 1,000. Some states it's more expensive. Obviously some states are not employer friendly, so those states are a little bit more expensive for workers' compensation, just because when the claim does happen, it closes higher than those other states, because insurance is governed by the state. Okay, so depending on your state, depends on the cost. The next coverage is contractors equipment. For landscaping, lawn care companies, contractors equipment coverage is covering your lawnmowers, covering your trimmers, covering for your weed eaters, covering your blowers. So usually what we do is we schedule the lawnmowers on the contractors equipment inland marine policy, and we schedule the lawnmowers, and anything usually over 5,000 we schedule, and then underneath that we put it in a small bucket of small tools coverage, and we're basically wanting to cover those assets. So if somebody steals your trailer, steals all your lawn equipment, that's your business right there. We want to make sure that's covered. So contractors equipment, usually we can add that onto the general liability for under 500 to 600 for the year. So if you're just starting out one-man shop, usually we can get everything under 1,000 minus the work comp, since you don't need it if you're the owner and you want to exclude yourself. Most owners do want to exclude themselves. If you don't, we can include you as an owner policy. Okay. Outside of that, we will, as you grow, and let's say you have you're using your vehicle, your personal vehicle for work purposes, and you want to separate that vehicle from your personal name into your LLC, into your business like you should, then we'll need a commercial auto policy. So commercial auto is very similar to personal auto. The difference is it's a more robust policy for your business. So usually we have higher liability limits of $1 million on that policy. We're covering the vehicle at a physical damage of $500 deductible, $1,000 deductible, depending on what you want. And depending on the state, some states we can get it under 1,000 for the year. Sometimes commercial auto insurance is less than personal auto insurance in some states. It's crazy. So I always tell people, I'm like, you should lease your car to your business. Always consult with a lawyer, obviously, but usually we can find it less expensive. And the higher risk states like Texas, Florida, usually we're under 2,000 to 3,000 for the year, just because those are higher expense states from an auto perspective. Okay, so let's go through general liability, 1 million policy. That's what we usually get for a limit there, 1 million, 2 million aggregate. And then workers' compensation, we usually get $1 million just to protect yourself. Contractors' equipment is determined by the value of your equipment. Commercial auto, we usually get $1 million policy. And then as you get into more commercial jobs, let's say you're mowing bank lots, the outside of a bank lot, maybe large commercial buildings, office buildings. Usually those big corporations will want you to have an umbrella policy. What is an umbrella policy? It's just extra liability coverage. Usually the umbrella sits on top of in excess of the general liability. Again, I said the general liability has $1 million limit. The excess liability sits above that, the umbrella. Okay, so you have $1 million in general liability, and then above that you may have another $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million. So if you have a $3 million claim, your general liability pays the first $1 million, and then your umbrella pays the next $2 million, okay? Because your general liability is capped at $1 million. Sometimes the umbrella will sit over the auto and the workers' compensation. It'll sit over all three of those coverages, okay? So when you get into the bigger commercial jobs, even if you do like some snow removal on the side, we can usually add that to the policy. That's where we'll see that umbrella go up. Again, we work with a ton of landscaping and lawn care contractors. So when you're working with a big vendor, you want to make sure you're working with an agent and an agency that knows what they're doing. And my team of over 15 agents knows exactly what they're doing to make sure that you're covered, and making sure that your vendors are going to accept your certificate of insurance. We turn certificates around usually within an hour to help people out. So you can always reach out to us and we can help you out. Best way to reach out, best way to get a quote is by the first pinned comment below. Follow the link, and we'll reach out, or call us via phone. So if you have any coverage or you have any questions, comment below. Thanks.